On February 20th, 2026, Kelly Ripa marked 25 years in the same seat. Not the same show, exactly. The name has changed twice, the co-host has changed twice, even the set has been rebuilt more than once. But the chair, the format, the 9 a.m. slot, constant. For a business that chews through morning show hosts in a matter of seasons, a quarter century is not longevity, it's an anomaly. The story of how she got there and stayed there is less a single career than 3 overlapping ones. An actress who became a talk show fixture almost by accident. A co-host who has now outlasted 3 different partners. And more recently, a woman publicly weighing when or whether to walk away from the thing she built. From Pine Valley to prime position, Ripa's first sustained fame came nowhere near a talk show desk. In 1990, she joined the daytime soap All My Children, playing Haley Vaughn for over a decade, the role that made her a recognizable face well before she ever sat down next to a host's microphone. Soap opera work is a peculiar training ground. It demands the ability to deliver enormous emotional swings on tight schedules, live to tape, with almost no room for a second take. It is, in retrospect, not a bad apprenticeship for live television. In February 2001, she stepped into a much bigger, much less scripted role, co-host of Live with Regis and Kelly, opposite the man who had, by then, already spent decades perfecting the format. Philbin was a legend of the genre. Ripa was, by comparison, an unknown quantity. What she brought to the desk was something the show hadn't quite had before, a co-host who could banter as an equal rather than a sidekick, quick enough to keep pace with a host twice her tenure. That partnership lasted until Philbin's retirement in 2011. What followed tells you a great deal about how the show, and Ripa's role in it, actually worked. The chair. Nobody told her about. In 2012, former NFL star Michael Strahan joined as her new co-host. The pairing worked well enough on air, but 4 years in ABC made a decision that became one of the more quietly telling moments of Ripa's career in April 2016. The network announced that Strahan would be leaving to join Good Morning America full-time, and did so without telling Ripa first. She didn't appear on the show the day the announcement was made. She returned days later and addressed it directly, on camera, without melodrama, acknowledging the show would go on, while making clear the way it had been handled mattered to her. It wasn't a scandal in the tabloid sense. It was something more ordinary and, in a way, more revealing. A reminder that even at the center of a show bearing her name, decisions about her own show could be made around her. The franchise absorbed the hit. Ryan Seacrest joined as co-host later that year, and the show carried on as Live with Kelly and Ryan until 2023, when Ripa's own husband actor Mark Consuelos stepped into the seat instead, rebranding it once again as Live with Kelly and Mark. A marriage on camera by choice. Ripa and Consuelos met on the set of All My Children in the 1990s and married in 1996, long before either of them anchored a national talk show. Putting that marriage on live television 5 days a week, decades later, was its own kind of gamble. The two had built a private life for years before ever sharing a desk. By most accounts, and by the ratings, it's worked. The show now trades openly on their marital chemistry as its central appeal, in a way it never quite could with a colleague. In 2026, that same domestic life became part of the show's texture in smaller ways too. Ripa has spoken publicly about family milestones, including sharing a Mother's Day meal with the couple's son, Joaquin, and the family turning out to support Joaquin's Broadway debut and a revival of Death of a Salesman. For a host whose entire brand has always blurred the line between the desk and the dinner table, these aren't detours from the story. They're the story, the book, the tour, and the other career. Somewhere in the last decade, Ripa also became an author. Her 2022 essay collection, Live Wire, long-winded short stories, walked through episodes of her life, her marriage, motherhood, and experiences of workplace bias, with a candor the show itself rarely allows. It sold well enough to send her on a book tour, layered on top of a daily broadcast schedule that would exhaust most people half her age. It was, in its own way, evidence of an ambition that never fully found room inside the format of morning television, 25 years, and the question she keeps circling. The anniversary in February 2026 forced the question everyone in daytime television eventually has to answer: how much longer? Ripa has not been shy about admitting she's thought about leaving before. In interviews ahead of the milestone, she described asking Oprah Winfrey, who ended her own record-setting talk show at the 25-year mark, whether that number should be her signal too. According to Ripa, Winfrey told her not to leave, arguing that a show built on her and Consuelos' dynamic mattered more now, not less, in a fractured media landscape. Ripa has said she plans to ask Winfrey for something more specific, not whether to stay, but how much longer. "If it ain't broke, don't fix it," she's put it, while also acknowledging in the same breath that she believes the show will eventually need to make room for other talent to build their own audience. That tension, an institution she has no obvious desire to abandon, sitting inside a genre she's watched contract for 2 decades, is really the through line of Ripa's later career. Morning talk shows have lost stars, lost audiences, and lost cultural centrality across the years she's been at the desk. She has been one of the few hosts to outlast that decline rather than be swept up in it, largely by turning the format's greatest liability, its need for constant, real-time authenticity, into her signature strength. Whether that's a formula that survives another 5 years or another 25 is a question even Ripa says she hasn't settled. What seems clear is that she intends to be the one who decides the answer on her own terms. And if her track record holds, largely in real time, on camera, the way she's done almost everything else.